Okay, yesterday I dropped it. I didn't get a video at the end, finish it off. Didn't show you everything. There's the new bearings. You all saw the old ones come off kind of hard. Well, one of them. The other one actually came off easy. That little impact wasn't enough to do it. It was actually a lot easier with an end wrench. But I forgot, I neglected to show that radiator's back in where it used to be. I guess it is made that way. I was thinking that they had tweaked that neck and the cap on this, but it's made that way. The old cab literally came right here, right to it. There was just barely enough room. And the hydraulic oil tank, which is right there on the cart, was mounted off the bottom of the cab and set right in here. So the only way you could really reach that if you didn't crawl underneath, which you couldn't do, because if the tire's right here to the dog, you can't get that way. You had to reach your arm up over and reach it from here. And it was like a fingertip reach because that oil tank was so far forward. Oh, anyway, oil tank ain't gonna be there. I'm not sure where it's gonna be. It actually, we should put it to the back for weight, but it might go up here in the neck. There's plenty of room. But don't need that extra weight up front. And there's most of them. Well, 2 bolts are in that bearing. Here's the bolts for making things work. And here's my adapter plates. The 5/8 bolt. That's countersink head. Chamfer the hole. Put it in from the other side, weld it in. Because then the other side is going to go up into the mount. And this bolt, the end of the new bearings, the pillow blocks, are going to be just almost to that line. So this bolt's going to get the head cut half off. Probably cut down about there or so when I cut it half off. It'll go in. I'll weld in down in the hole. These obviously aren't big enough holes yet. I haven't finished drilling them. Weld down in the hole as far as I can onto the end of the cutoff piece and weld the rest of it in. It will be a pain in the ass changing wheels because you're going to have basically studs sticking up. And you're going to have to line them up at the same time everything is getting put together rather than just slipping a bolt in. But that's what it's going to be. And that hole, that slot, I remember we had trouble getting it apart. But coming apart, we put the impact on the bottom. We won't be able to do that later. You can't get an end wrench in that cutout. And we're going to have to, because we're going to have to be able to put at least this tire on and off at the nut and not underneath. So, it's all painted and everything. Yeah, I think I'm going to take the reciprocating saw and see if I can't make it wide enough there at the bottom. I'm hoping that's going to work. We will find out. Be easier than torching it. If I got to torch it, I'll probably use the plasma on it. But then, on the other hand of that, I can get down closer to the bottom plate with the oxyacetylene. So, but I'm hoping a reciprocating saw is going to work. Save burning as much paint off. So I got to get drilling some holes while the dogs do what the dogs do, and to watch me. See, Whiskey doesn't like me to watch him. Huh. Big lug. Big lug. Acting camera shy. Say hi, Whiskey. Say hi, Whiskey. Say hi. There we go. Okay, bud. And Red. And Blue's just going to chill. Alright, let's see how this works. Seems to me I've done this before. Show you the old drill press at work. A little cutting oil, just because I'm going a little bigger. Smaller stuff I usually don't use it on. And I don't necessarily need to use this bit for all the holes, but I gotta open the other one up anyway, so. And if you can see it, yeah, I got my hand on the piece, and it's in the vise. And I hold down on it and hold on to it, but if it takes off, it doesn't take my hand because I just have my fingers tucked over the end. And yeah, I've gotten a finger banged on the vise before. But if I can hold it down in the vise, it can't spin around. I'll get the two holes on this end, take it out of the vise, turn it around, and do the two holes that are in my hand. And yeah, I got a fair amount of pressure on it. This bit isn't very dull, it's actually pretty sharp. But if you keep enough pressure on it, you keep them cutting, and they last longer. If you get too much pressure on them, you got issues too, especially when you go through. Most of the time, if you chip on it, it's when you go through. So when I get to the other edge, I just don't put as much pressure on it, go a little slower. Makes it a whole lot nicer. I don't mind sharpening bits, but when I'm in the middle of something, I really don't want to have to stop and do it either. And yes, I got a glove on. A couple of reasons. One, I don't want my hands full of oil. And two, I just drilled 2 holes off. It's not hot, but it's warm. And yeah, I can't quite make it all the way through without some oil. And I could, but I guarantee I'd be sharpening the bit. And if you got a good sharp bit when you start and you keep it up, keep the oil to it, very rarely do I have to sharpen very often. If you notice, it's bringing out nice coils. It just keeps coming. It gets its flakes too. One side might be getting a little dull, so it's flaking instead of bringing out coils. But hey, I only got 4 more holes to do like that. Then I gotta drill 2 more out, but that's only 1 more size bit, so that's only 1 more drilling time. See if it'll focus on it. It doesn't want to focus very well. Wow, get the light on it. I really don't. Okay, I just drilled 8 holes with this bit. It was not sharp before I started either. It wasn't freshly sharpened. I don't know how many holes it's done. See if we can do the trick other guys do. Make it focus. But it looks pretty good. Is it sharp enough to put back in the drawer and not worry about next time? Yes. It'll probably drill at least that many more holes unless it catches something hard. Okay, there you go on bits. Oh, see if I can show this angle. I'm trying to look at the picture through the holder. You see, I like to take the heels down quite a ways. When you get a brand new bit, the heel is actually almost in the way. There's just enough they cut. But once you start grinding them by hand, anyway, for me, I got to knock the heel way off. Otherwise, the heel ends up getting in the way. And that's just the way I've always sharpened bits, flat on the end. Sharpen it around, and then just take the edge off, get you a nice sharp edge. That's how I've always done it. That's how I was taught. And, you know, the old man was a machinist for most of his life, plus farming. He had to work with these things all the time when he worked in town. He would actually seriously go through the scrap barrel because other guys in the same shop, they'd break a bit, they'd throw it away. Well, that bit's still more than long enough to get a lot of useful life out of. So if you break one off right here, regrind it. That's what they're made for. They last a long time. Although we have had some bits that have been a little on the soft side, and you end up sharpening them every 4, 5, 6 holes, and yeah, they don't last near as long. We've got a couple that are about that long right there, just barely enough where they'll still take the full hole without getting undersized. Anyway, I thought I'd show you that quick. A different bit. I wanted to show you this. This one actually a little more pointed than I like to see them. Dad used to get them pretty pointed when he sharpened. Sorry, I gotta move to the side so I can see it. This side don't look too bad. It's got a little deficiency there on the edge, you can see. This side caught something hard last time it was used. So, yeah. I'm going to sharpen this one before I use it. Probably flatten it out a little bit too. That dream, I'm back again. Holes are drilled. I did chip it right in there. I wasn't. Dad and I used to get in this argument. He would go up like one drill size at a time. Doing that, you're only using like right there. And it's really easy to just chip that because it's the only thing cutting. And you spend a lot of time sharpening. I like to actually take a little. I mean, if you're like this is a 3/4, I went the other one was 41/64, which is just over 5/8. 5/8 to 3/4, you're not cutting a lot. That's why it chipped. If I went from 1/2 inch to 3/4, then you're using a lot more of this surface here when you're cutting, and it'll take it easier because it's not the only thing hitting. It's got a little help. But I had to sharpen it. And if you can see the color there or not, you can see where I didn't grind. That's like right there. I ground the heel off, and I ground along the face, and then I ground the edge. Right there you can see better. See the color difference right here? That's what didn't get ground this time. I did grind the whole thing the first time, so if you notice, it's a little different angle. Anyway, that part's done. Play big time. This is to countersink. Usually, I don't know how many 1-inch countersinks we got around, but we got a bunch. But the heads I'm countersinking for are 1.25 inches across. And the angle's off a little bit. Not much. It's close enough. Things will conform to fit. I just had to sharpen this, but these you got to sharpen different. I actually used the cutoff wheel on the little grinder to get in here, and you just take it off of the back there. This one's been sharpened a few times. You can tell by the notch in it. Get where I can see what you're seeing. Yeah, the notch. That's from getting ground. You can't really grind on the outside because that's the size you got to be to cut, and it's better than it was. It had a pretty good chip in it right about where I got to use it. So now to use this. The plate is done except for welding the bolts in. The reason to chamfer it so deep is that's what I got for a bolt, and I need just about 1 3/8 inches sticking out. That's about as close as I'm going to get. These two holes are even. It's just barely shy of 1 3/8 inches sticking out. So that one's done. I've done enough grinding on that chamfer bit. I ran a 1 inch down that far so that this one's not cutting near as much. This might just be a 2 video day because I already got more than enough for video. So hey, this video I'm going to end right here with a pile of chips. Thanks for watching, and look for the next one tonight, I hope.